started first with our imaginations. In 2007, on mine and Alan's first date, we started farming, armchair farming from that day. And we haven't stopped since. We sat down and it literally took years to research exactly what we wanted to raise. Our farm is ever expanding just from those first 5 chickens and us talking about a dream of having a family farm someday. My biggest motivation to pursue farming, which is undoubtedly the nastiest, dirtiest, hardest, hottest job I've ever had in my life, and I was a urban paramedic for better parts of a decade. And it's being a mom. I wanted to know 100% what was in what I was feeding to my children, and the only way to do that for me was to raise it myself. To start with, you have the leader of the family, which is the cranky old grandpa, my dad, Ogburn, who's been farming his entire life. And of course, the ways of farming in the 60s and 70s are a bit different than how we're trying to do it here today. And so he follows me around every day and lets me know everything I'm doing wrong and gripes. And then at the end of the day, he's complaining about how we raised everything, but he is never late for the dinner table, ever. He always agrees to that. And then my husband, Alan, he's the silent, quiet type. Alan works full-time at a local steel mill while I run the farm full-time. So people are kind of shocked by that I'm actually the full-time farmer and my husband works off of the farm. I always jokingly say that Alan funds my farming habit, so hopefully one day that'll turn around. And then we have my stepson, Michael. We call him Tough. I tell him all the time, I said, you know, he's been tough since the day he was born. He helps us all the time on the farm. We couldn't do a lot of the things that we get done here without him. And then we have our daughter, Taylor. She's 5, a curly-headed ball of fire, the most charismatic 5-year-old I've ever seen in my life. And then there's baby boy, Jack, and he is 3½, and according to him, that half does count. All boy, 100%, at least one busted lip per week. One of the biggest parts of our family farm, we can't stay here on the farm all the time, so one of the biggest parts is our community, and we have a great community here in Southern Virginia. I love to take the animals out to the local schools because so many kids have no idea where their food comes from. So when you bring in a chicken and say, hey, this is where an egg comes from, and their little eyes just light up and you can see that connection made, and it's awesome. We constantly have school field trips coming out to the farm, and when the kids get off the buses, their eyes light up, and it's just amazing. It's just great to be a part of our community like we are, and to have them embrace us and what we're doing here on our farm. There's another truly remarkable aspect of our community, and that's the abundance of women farmers. We share, it's just such a kindred spirit together. You know, we're all moms, and we're trying to better our communities and better our families all at the same time. You know, back in the early 1900s, 70% of Americans lived on farms. Today that number's down to something like 10%, and we have just totally lost touch with agriculture. We have no idea, we as a whole, about where our food comes from. Anytime someone has a chance to actually visit a working farm and see firsthand where their food comes from, it's an amazing experience, and I see it all the time. The really young kids are just infatuated by it. And then again, the older generation, the 70 and 80-year-olds that come out to the farm, you can just see this light come on in their eyes, and they're remembering their farm as a child and how they grew up. And it's wonderful to see that connection light up that light in their eyes again. I want to teach you guys how to properly cut up vegetables. Are you ready?
Yep.
With kitchen knives, not pocket knives. Alright, first, I've already washed them. Even though they come from the farmer's market, doesn't mean they're perfectly clean. So you're going to wash them and dry them. Cut off both ends. Since we're on a farm, we're going to save this to feed to the poultry. And then there's our extended farm family, which is a constant host of who's stopping by, because believe me, we will put you to work. We have my best friend's oldest son, Chris, who's here every day helping on the farm. And without him and Tough, I don't know what we'd do. They are a big part of the backbone of this operation. The average age of the American farmer is 54, and it's steady going up. More and more young people that even are growing up on the farms, which it's very few now, they're leaving the farms to find work elsewhere. So anytime we can get a young person interested in farming, you know, it's a hurdle jump. And we have so many great kids that work here on the farm with us. There's so many boys and girls that come out here and help us on a regular basis do unbelievable things. And I mean, it could be anything from moving hay to catching piglets that we let them farrow in the woods. So that's an event all in itself, to chase down a dozen piglets in the middle of the woods with the mom right behind you. But it's a great experience for these kids. You know, they're here working hand in hand, and hopefully, and you can see it in them, they're developing a love for farming. Overgrowth on the sides right here, we've got to cut that off so she won't have sore feet. And so to help her hold still, you pick them up, set them flat on their butt, and they'll hold still mostly for you. All right, Haley, you want to come here and hold her still, and Hannah, I'll show you how to trim bugs. All of our animals surprise me with something new every day. Something about sheep is their eyes are set very far on the side of their head. And they're one of the few animals that can see directly behind themselves without turning their head. So that makes sheep real fun to catch when they don't want to be caught. If I could pick a slogan for our farm, it would be family, farm, and food, and in that order. We are the Taylor-Wright Farm Company.